In this video, I'm going to focus on, the describing the different parts of the RV that you probably, if you're out and you're looking at an RV and you're trying to decide, to kind of give you this with this dissected view here, to give you kind of some points of what you're watching out for. So the first one we'll watch out for will be the roof, and generally we're going to watch out along these areas here, right, and right around here. What happens is when you're looking at an RV, this is called where the front cap or end cap attach in the roof area, and then the roofing goes up to it. A lot of times that's leaks, and the particular lap sealant that's there isn't maintained, so you end up with a leak. And what happens is the leak actually continually soaks this luan right here. And luan is a real hard plywood. It's usually made out of an oak or some sort of a premium plywood. And eventually what it does is it creates a pleat look. And so the roof surface will look very bumpy, and it'll have kind of pleats in it. And that means that this particular wood underneath here has completely decayed and been dissolved because it's gotten wet and dried so many times. So I would look at each one of the end caps and up here on the top. And then the other spot is right next to the air conditioners and around the air conditioners, because the air conditioners put off a lot of water. So whether or not it's sitting in rain or not, the air conditioners are putting a lot of water on your roof. And if there's not good sealant or lap sealant, and it's not maintained well around the air conditioner, you'll end up with leak or penetration points there. These other two spots here would be, the end cap points, which would be the basically these points right here are exactly the same, and that would you would equally want to look at that. There's also skylight up here. So the roof is one of the big things that you want to make sure that you check out when you're out and you're looking at an RV. The next area that I always pay attention to are the tires. And the tires, specifically, I'm looking for, what the condition of the tires are. So, and the age. So if you're out, you always want to pay attention to the DOT code, which is going to be week, year format. So what that means is if you look on the tire, you'll see something like this, DOT, and then a box. And in this box, it'll have 12 in it. That means 12th week of 2012. So that's 5 years old, right? That lets you know, hey, these tires are 5 years old since they were manufactured. And so you'll want to make sure you look at the tires as a pretty big sticking point. The next side of it, which isn't depicted in this picture, is going to be the awnings, right? And so, and I'll try to draw an awning, but usually you have a patio awning that goes right through here, and this particular patio awning will go like that. And essentially what you're looking for is you're looking in this area here, and the fabric, right? And because these are the points that are going to be, that need to be maintained, because there's going to be an actual bolt that holds the awning to the side of it. And you may be looking at an RV that has may have window awnings, and those you will want to equally, and then fabric, right? So this is, so the next thing is, the awnings, right? And so if you get past the awnings, the next thing you're looking for is delamination. And what delamination is it's when water usually penetrates somewhere, either right around here, right up here, or at some point up here along the entire ridge, and the water runs down, and that water actually gets between the fiberglass and the wood. So, and when that happens is because the fiberglass is actually glued to the wood, and this wood gets weak, and so then the glue and the wood kind of let go, and what you end up with is an awkward kind of bubble that is, in this vicinity here, or maybe it's down here somewhere or wherever. But, delamination is expensive to fix. And, it's not a deal breaker. It just depends on where it is. Because if you find that the actual, so if it's this one right here, and you find that the delamination, the water entry point was here, and it's not very bad at this point, then maybe if you resolve this to where no more water gets in there, it shouldn't get much bigger. But, each RV is different, right? But that's what you're worried about, is you're worried about this separation and this delamination, because you're looking at, they would have to actually cut out this whole section right here, and actually put it all back together, and then repaint and everything else. All right, so it's not a cheap fix. It's just something to pay attention to. So if you get past the roof, you get past the tires and the awnings, and now you're on to looking at the rest of the exterior. You haven't really gone out yet. One of the other areas you're looking for is in and around the tops of these slide outs. If they don't have a slide topper on them, what'll happen is you got to watch out for water pools creating on top of these, where there'll actually be indentions in the top of the slide from water having sit on top of that slide for an extended period of time, which could break or buckle the support system underneath of it, because it's not particularly thick. It's usually really, really thin aluminum, and that's a worry that you don't want to have. So check the tops of the slides, and then if by chance the slide has a topper on it, check that the topper is okay. All right, so you've checked the topper. So then the next thing you want to do is you want to go around to all the windows, and you're looking for foggy, which is a loss of seal and double pane. Dual pane, I think is what they call that. And then the other thing you're looking for is there should be silicone or caulk right through here. And so it'll be missing or broken or not present or whatever, but you're looking to make sure that that's been properly maintained. And so you're going to need to look above and below all windows. right? It's very important that you look above and below every window, right? And check every one of them out, and make sure that you've got no water damage or leakage or broken glass or anything like that. So, all right, finish erasing all this. And I'll kind of talk a little bit in generalities before we go in. The big thing you want to make sure of, for your slide outs is that they go in and out smoothly. So you're going to want to watch their operation to make sure that you've got decent, so the operation looks smooth. And then the other side of it is to look, once they are all the way in, check the gap from side to side, right? So once this is all the way flush with the RV, it should be the same distance flush on both sides. And if it's not flush, then you may need to have that slide adjusted. Either which way, I would definitely have it checked out. The slide should go in there flush. The other side is to look inside of all your compartments, right? So open up every one of these and smell in there and reach in there and feel the floor. Leaks that come in from up here will go down here into the floor, and then they can wreak havoc down here. So you may not see any issues up here because it found a clear, fast way to the bottom. But down here, you may see a lot of discoloration, right? And that's what you're looking for, that discoloration and in the carpeting that's underneath there. And any weak spots. Right? And so once you've made it through that particular part, the next part is to look at the batteries and check the age and corrosion, and and if you brought your voltmeter and the RV's plugged into power, check volts. If it's plugged into power, they should be charging, so you should see 13.5 approximately volts. Right? All right. So you check the batteries. The next thing to do is to check the leveling system, right? And that's this system down here. And what you're looking for is you want to look to see, does it work? And, are any of the feet bent? And do the jacks extend and retract without help, right? So you have the jacks, if you come out and the jacks are extended and the slides are out, the seller may not be interested in, pulling the jacks in while the slides are out, because it could twist the body. It's not a good idea. So to check this one out, it would probably be, at the end, let's make sure that all these jacks do actually retract. And I do have an article on, what to do if you do end up with jacks that won't retract, but, we'll kind of go from, I'll reference that later. So the next part is to check out the steps. And once you've checked out the steps, the big thing you're looking for is that have excessive movement when you step on them, right? So they have excessive give. And so if they do have excessive give, then maybe you may have to replace them, and to replace those steps is not really, and it's not simple, because let's say you did have all this tile right here, all that tile is probably going to have to come out. And because there's 4 bolts, usually at least 4 bolts, that are actually holding these steps in place. So, the other side is, once you do go into the RV, you want to look inside the slide. One of the key areas here is to look inside the slide area, and if there's any sort of furniture or cabinets or anything like that, you want to pull those drawers out, right? And look back here, right? That back area, because if this slide leaks, more than likely the water is going to pool along right through here, and so you'll see the discoloration, and that's what you're looking for. And alternatively, if you just saw no delamination on the outside, when you're inside, you look at all windows. Same way as you did on the outside, you look below them, right? This is the area you're worried about, because that's where and it would usually be along the bottom. And the other area is if you were to have a leak here, then down here that you would feel how soft it is. And and then the other area you kind of look at is, in the bathroom, the skylight. The skylight is one of those areas that I don't know what it is. It's I don't know. People just don't like to check to see if the skylight has decent lap sealant on it or not. But that's a common area for it to leak. And I've seen that firsthand. And so and one of the things I did forget to mention, that's also another leak point, is right there, the ladder. Where the ladder attaches to the roof is a point where the lap sealant or the caulk that's used right there tends to get broken and not be paid attention to it, and water gets in. And so you'll notice that. And then the other side of it is if they have one of those luggage racks, each one of those points down through there is a worry. So you need to look at that while you're on the roof, and make sure that the roof feels solid all the way across as you're up there. And the next side of it is once you're inside, is looking in all the cabinets, and looking in the back of the cabinets. You're looking for water damage, right? Just the same as what we looked right here, for water damage. You're doing the same thing with the cabinets, right? And water, generally, the damage is usually going to be along the bottom, right? It's usually going to be along this edge, right? It's going to be somewhere in here, or directly below a window, or around the door, and so these are big areas to kind of pay attention to once you're inside. And the skylight is a very big one, so make sure that you definitely check that bathroom out really, really well, and look inside all the cabinets. And the next thing I would recommend is, as this picture shows, aluminum substructure, right? So aluminum framing, so that in the event that water does get in, the last thing you want to have to do is have to reframe a section. So if it's aluminum, it's not going to rust or rot. So the worst case scenario you would have to replace would be, the decking, if it were the roof. And if it's a sidewall, hopefully all your issues are on the inside, not the outside, so you don't have delamination. But how do you figure out who's using aluminum? The manufacturer's brochure. They will always list it if they use aluminum framing, right? Because it costs them more to do it that way. And I think most of the newer ones will have aluminum framing, but anyways, I wanted to kind of provide just kind of a quick overview of kind of my process and what I'm thinking of as I'm looking at an RV. Obviously I didn't go into the motorhome aspect of driving it down the road. I'm just kind of strictly talking about the home part. And I'll have a follow-on video which will kind of talk about how to use the multimeter and how to use one of the voltage testers to check to make sure that you've got voltage, and I use it to make sure I don't have voltage so I don't get myself shocked. And we'll call that a wrap, and I really appreciate you guys tuning in and listening, and hope you have a great day. Take care.